think we are good to go. Yep. All right. Okay, well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Beautiful Frustration Podcast with me, Charles,
Tish.
and Tish. And once again, we are back up in this thing. This is episode number 43, and we just want to welcome you guys to the Facebook Live show. Thank you to everybody who's been rocking out with us and leaving us reviews, ratings, all that good stuff. People who tune in every week. We appreciate y'all. Absolutely. So, don't forget that we are available on all podcast platforms. Anywhere you can get a podcast, it's there. Okay, we are not just a Facebook Live show. So, if you miss it, man, either run back that video or feel free to go ahead and check us out on your DSPs. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into it. So, this past week, it feels like every single week somebody is dying so far. Like somebody important is passing away almost every single week, it seems like. So this week is Mary Wilson. Mary Wilson, for those who don't know, she was one of the founding members of the Supremes, and she passed away this week or last week, rather, at the age of 76 years old, okay? So yeah, rest in peace to her, another legend, icon, who we have lost, unfortunately. But on a lighter note, something I found kind of funny, Bow Wow, Shad Moss, wants to be a professional wrestler.
Why?
Well, I'm glad you asked. So,
he's little.
He said on Twitter, he's like, now I know this might sound crazy, but after I drop my last album, I will focus on TV and film and joining the WWE. It's been a lifelong childhood dream to wrestle in the WWE. Me and Rey Mysterio versus whoever for the tag team titles. So I'm not really sure how to feel about that as well. I mean,
but he's little.
Yeah, I think he's like right at the 5 foot mark as far as I know. So I mean,
Wow.
Hey, do your thing, Playboy. I guess, but yeah, that's Bow Wow. That's what he got going on out here. And yeah, he's apparently retiring from rap. I don't really, I didn't know he was still rapping, but yeah, something that kind of flew under the radar. Nick Cannon has COVID. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But I mean, I didn't really pay too much attention to Nick Cannon after Wildin' Out stopped.
Oh, so you a Fairweather fan? You ain't real.
I'm not with him. No.
Oh dang, you weren't supposed to admit you're not real. You supposed to?
No, be honest.
Oh man,
I like the show Wildin' Out. That's what I like.
Well, all right then.
Sorry, I'm supposed to say, "Oh, I am a diehard Nick Cannon fan." I'm not.
Hey, I ain't saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? I understand. If you ain't with it, you ain't with it. Yeah, but I was just surprised that we didn't really hear a whole lot about that. But I think you'll be interested in this one. I don't know if you knew, but the Best Man, for all of the men and women out there who love that show, Best Man is going to be having a limited series with the original cast. And it's going to be available on the Peacock streaming service, which is NBC's streaming service. So, yeah, all of the boys are going to be back. Terrence Howard, Taye Diggs, of course, Nia Long, Sanaa Lathan, all of them, they're all coming back, except for Homegirl, of course, because she passed away.
But where is
Morris Chestnut?
Now that is who I'm an avid fan of.
I know you remind me every chance you get.
That's fine, but he wasn't in that photograph. I'm a little confused.
He's not, and you know what? For both of our sakes, I hope he's not in there because you don't know how to act. You do not know how to act. So yeah, just throwing that in there. Let's see, what else do we have? So this was one that I heard about today, but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It did happen last week. So Lauren London. Yeah, Lauren London, for those of y'all who know, you know who she is, I'm sure. She was in the movie ATL. She was a singer for a little bit. She was on The Game. She's been in acting in a few different things. What was that, This Christmas? She was in it too, as one of the sisters?
Yes.
So basically, Lauren London, to give some context to this, her husband, or boyfriend
Boyfriend.
rather, Nipsey Hussle, was tragically killed. Was that last year?
No, it had to be 2019.
uh,
It
it's
wasn't in
hard to keep
2020.
up. It is hard to keep up. But basically, Nipsey passed. For those, if you know, you know. And unfortunately, she cannot continue to grieve in peace because the LA Sentinel ran a piece that they claim was from a trusted source that she's pregnant. Okay, a woman who is currently grieving her significant other, the father of her children. Um, yeah, basically, she had to tweet. She woke up to some straight BS, rumors, lies on a woman trying her best to heal. Please stop. I'm not pregnant. That, I don't know, Tish. I don't even know what to say about that. What do you think?
I just I don't know. Like I mean, I get blogs and stuff are supposed to do what they do, get the gossip and leak it or talk about it or whatever, but I just think there's some situations and some people that are off limits. Like I'll even go as far as the whole Tamar situation when she was committing suicide. I mean, attempting. Excuse me.
I said she was
Attempting
committing.
the
Okay.
attempted suicide. I feel like they went overboard. There comes a time when privacy, like you reach the line of, okay, this is my privacy line. You can't pass it. You cannot cross it. And I feel like the blogs do a whole lot more damage than they do of good with trying to spread gossip and letting people heal. Like I don't know. I feel like they should just leave her alone, please.
Yeah, no, I think that's.
Her, Vanessa Bryant, and anybody else that has lost their significant other or spouse that's in the limelight.
I mean, it's just like when you told me that she had asked that people don't post stuff about Kobe or
Yeah, she
anything.
did.
I mean, I told you then, ain't nobody gonna respect that.
They did though.
Like who?
I mean, I didn't see. Okay,
I was
well,
all over my timelines.
So the crash and the airplane and the bodies and stuff
They,
like that.
there was literally a story today while I was looking up and getting stuff ready for production where it was, and it's like anybody needed or cared about this. It's confirmed that the pilot was blinded or something while flying up in the. I'm like, who wanted to know
A
this?
whole year later.
Like it's. I don't know. Last couple things. So Justin Timberlake finally apologized for the Janet Jackson situation.
Where he exposed her boob?
Yes. Yes.
Wasn't that like 10 years ago?
So apparently, as the internet does, it resurfaced, and when it did, people started to attack Justin, and so yeah. But black folks wasn't having it. And they was like, that's a whole 10 years late, Justin. You went on to have a very successful career, on the backs of black people, basically, and now all of a sudden I I don't know it. I mean, he got off that situation scot free for the most part, even though he was the one who pulled the thing off.
But was that an accident or did he do it on purpose?
It had to be on purpose. What did you expect to happen? You grabbing up here?
But wasn't they performing?
I'm pretty sure it was not part of the performance for the titty to flop out.
I know that, but I'm saying if you're dancing together and y'all do a dance move or something, it's been so long ago, I don't remember how it happened, but I was watching. And if you go do something across here, his arm might have got caught on it or something. I don't know. But I just think it's old news.
I'm like, this
what
is a
does it
multi-million
matter?
dollar production. You don't get to make mistakes like that. That's a little wild.
I don't even think Janet cares anymore.
I mean, at this point, man, look, like, I really do think that kind of interfered with her becoming what she could have been in that era. Like, she already had a big name, but I feel like she was on her way up further. Like, you're performing at the Super Bowl. That's typically the peak or the pinnacle for a lot of artists. Justin Timberlake, from that point on, went on to be very lucrative in his music career, whereas Janet kind of just, like, it went down a little bit. Her dominance in the 90s did not transfer past that point, pretty much. And so, I mean, yeah, man, like, from what I heard, there was a lot of blackballing and stuff like that in terms of people not feeling like she's safe to work with and things like that because of what he did. So yeah, crazy stuff, man. Last name Gorilla Glue Girl.
Oh my goodness.
She is selling merchandise
That says what?
with her face on it and a bottle of Gorilla Glue. I mean, I'm just saying for all the people who
I'm
kept
not going to
saying,
even ask who would buy that because I'm pretty sure people are.
"Oh yeah,"
I think it's ridiculous.
just for the novelty of it, people will buy it. I mean, look, there were plenty of folks who told me I needed to chill and stuff, commenting on my videos and all that. You're just hating on her and all this blah blah blah. No, she really didn't know. And it's still folks who want to argue with me that she thought it was Gorilla Snot and everything else, when in actuality, apparently she didn't even get it from the store. It was in her house already.
If it
So
said glue and not snot, why on earth? So did she think it was track hair? Like, I mean, track glue?
I don't know what she thought. All I know is she's up to like 20K for her whatchamacallit, GoFundMe.
Lord.
Also, she got the surgery done for free and the glue was removed. So basically, what do you need people's $20,000 for at this point? And you're selling merchandise and you have management and booking. So I'm just saying, if it don't look right, but yeah. So anyway, that's what happened this past week. And Tish, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you, man. Give us that nugget.
If the Lord wanted me to be dumb, he should have just told me.
If he wanted you to be dumb,
yeah. If being dumb is gonna make me that kind of money just for doing something dumb.
Look, man, I'm not gluing my scalp, fam.
He should have been. I'm not either.
That much I'm not doing. I'm sorry.
Like, you're being very, very, very. I don't get it.
Well, it worked for her,
I guess.
What nugget you got?
Okay, so today we're going to talk about unspoken truths, and how we should challenge them instead of allowing them to sit and fester and become truths in our head. So I can say from experience that spouses make assumptions about each other. You make assumptions about what the other person's gonna say, what they're gonna do, how they're gonna feel if you do something or if you say something. It's one of those automatic things. If I do this, I know he's going to be like, he's going to feel this way, or he's going to be happy about this, or he's not going to be happy about this, or, he's going to be totally messed up behind this. Those kind of things. Those are like quick assumptions that we make just off the cuff because that's just kind of what we do. But I think the bad part about it is when we start to make those assumptions truths in our head. So when I say unspoken truths, it sounds like I'm saying truths, but truths. I'm speaking of, beliefs that you have, that you perceive or whatever from your spouse that later become reality in your mind. And they're things that you don't even speak on. It's just stuff that when a situation happens within the marriage or within a relationship, you feel a certain way about it, or it makes you feel a certain way and you don't speak on it. So when you don't speak on it, you sit on it and you think about it, and your thoughts become what reality is, even if it's not in real life. So I would say that assumptions drive you to act a certain way. So I would say for me, there was a point in time when I told you that I didn't tell you certain things or I didn't say certain things because I knew that you couldn't handle it, or I assumed that you wouldn't be able to handle it.
Right.
And so from doing so, I would keep a lot of stuff in. And you wouldn't know anything about half the stuff that I was dealing with or thinking about or anything like that, because it was assumed on my part that he's dealing with this, so ain't no way he's gonna be able to handle my, my griefs or my, my questions or my anxieties or anything that I'm dealing with. And by me doing that, that became a norm for me to not let you in on those parts of my life and
Right.
not to say things to you. So when you would actually see something, or I would say something after hindsight, you'd be like, I never knew that, I didn't know that, you didn't tell me that. And it's like, oops, I forgot,
Oops.
I should have told you, or my bad. And it was because I got used to not telling you stuff because I felt like you couldn't handle it. But instead of me coming to you and saying, hey, I have some stuff going on, I'm not sure if you can handle it or not, and letting you tell me whether you can handle it or not, I took that on my own self and made that assumption for you. So I think that when you do that, you create barriers in your marriage or in your relationship, period. Because it's like there's no communication surrounding whatever it is. And if there is communication, you kind of say, like, we'll have a conversation and you'll tell me what you think, or you'll say something, and it makes me feel like, oh, well, I don't think he cares about what I'm, I don't think he cares. And I'll just be like, okay. And then we go on, and you done went on about something else. And in my mind, in my head, I'm thinking, he don't believe this, or he doesn't like this, or he thinks that I look like this, or I look like that. And I never say anything. So this is what I'm developing in my head while you're thinking the situation's over and done with. And I think that was the same thing that was with you, because now we get to a point to where it's like, you'll say, I need to say this out loud so that you can tell me that this is not what you meant. Mm-hmm. Or, this is not how you were perceiving it. And then that gives me a chance to be like, oh, no, that's not what I said. That's not how I wanted it to come off. This is what I meant. And then I'm able to basically kill that assumption in your head.
Yeah.
So, but that's one of the things that it's a challenge to do that, because you have to be vulnerable with your spouse or your mate and say, okay, well, I'm going to get out of my pride. I'm going to get out of my feelings, and I'm going to tell you, this is what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's true or not, but I need to say this out loud because this is how this made me feel. And when you said this, or when you did this, it made me feel this way, or it made me look at you in this way. And sometimes people are not they're not willing, or they don't feel comfortable or safe enough to let that guard down, to be like, okay, this is the weak side of me. This is how I'm feeling. And I really want, you to let you in so that you can help me with this. So I don't know. I just thought about some of the unspoken truths that I've either had or that we've experienced, or, some that I've heard. It's like, he or she cares more about me than work. More about my job than you care about your spouse. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'm sitting here, talking to you, and you're on your computer doing your work. You're not even really caring about what I'm saying. You care more about work. And instead of me being like, hey, can you listen to me right now?
You're just sitting back getting mad about it.
Yes. And it's just like, you know what? Forget it. And if that keeps happening, then it's just like, well, he cares more about work than he cares about anything. He gives more attention to that computer than he gives to me. Other things, like one that we had was, he or she cares more about their friends and spending time with their friends than they do me. And it's like, you're a different person when you hang out with your friends than you are with me. You seem to be happier when you're with your friends than when you are with me. And so, like, we had to have that conversation for me to know that that was how it was making you feel. But that conversation didn't really come like, let me tell you how that makes me feel right now. Like, it was more so of it happening, or whatever was happening that made you feel that way a whole bunch of times before you're like, okay, look, this is how this makes me feel. You seem a lot more chipper around them than you are with me. What is that about? Yeah. So, I would just say the way to fix that kind of thing is when you start to feel those situations, or when you start to feel a way about something, don't let it fester, and don't let it, don't be so prideful to where it's just like, okay, this is how I look at him because for about a year or two or three or four, this is how I've been thinking about this guy, or this is what I'm assuming that he is or she is, or this is what they're going to say, or this is what they're going to do. And instead of just breaking the conversation as soon as it happens, it's just like, okay, this is making me feel like this. And that way you can kill those truths before they even become something real in your head.
But I think you gotta want to believe the best about your spouse,
Right.
and I think that that's a huge part of it. Is that, I mean, a lot of people, it's like they claim that because that's even in the Bible, right? Like, when it talks about love, right? It tries to believe the best, right?
Right.
So, but I feel like a lot of people are not really willing to do that. I feel like when you get married, one of the hardest things is to break your desire to be right. Like, especially when you're not used to having to compromise on a regular basis, and
True.
you're used to living things, it's your way. It's like, this is how I do things. I don't want to have to now understand your perspective because I was doing fine by myself. So, I mean, I feel like breaking out of that whole mold of I'm right, you're wrong, that's, to me, that did like wonders for us, because it was like, okay, once you finally take the boxing gloves off and you try to really aim for reconciliation, then it makes it a whole lot easier to actually see the best in each other, because it's not us having the boxing gloves on all the time. It's actually us trying to work through things. So,
Right.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's my nugget. I mean, I see a lot of couples who, they'll be like, well, he ain't gonna, this or that, and this is how it made me feel, but I ain't gonna say nothing because it's not gonna change him. He's not gonna change. He's not gonna say, that he cares. You never know until you actually voice that. And I think, people have PTSD of past situations. Like, the last time this happened, this is what he did, or this is what she did. And so, guess what? I'm not gonna do it this time because that's what happened last time. Well, last time may not be this time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you kind of just gotta put your pride down and go for it. And if something makes you feel away, then say it. Yeah. I mean, you're talking to your teammate. You're not talking to an enemy. You're not talking to, somebody that's on the opposite side of the rope. No, you guys are together as one. So when you keep that teammate mindset, then it'll make you want to figure it out together and not try to go off by yourself with your own assumptions and, figure it out or heal or try to, do things by yourself. Because I did that. I did it a lot.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, well, he can't deal with this, so I'm going to go off by myself. And I'm going to tell a friend, or, I'm going to talk to Jesus and ask God to, help me, because right now my husband can't do it. And, I mean, while I feel like it would have taken a lot out of you to help me in those moments, I still did not give you the chance to even try. So.
Yeah. I mean, you can have pride even with teammates.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even necessarily always have to view your spouse like they're, an enemy to still be, allow pride to get in the way. Like, and that's really where that comes from. Like, I feel like the lack of communication comes from a proud place. It comes from a place of pride, where it's just like, I shouldn't have to say this. You should know this. Or why do I have to say something that seems so basic to me? But again, it's like, you got to keep in mind, it's two different perspectives. I'm not her, she's not me. So we can see the world two totally different ways. And whereas something may have been common sense to her, I'm sitting back like, huh? Like, what do you? And some, to me, it'd be like, bruh, what? I've told you this. Like, I don't understand. What are you not? And it's for her, it's like, I genuinely don't get what you're saying. So, I mean, yeah, just kind of understanding, I guess, that it's just not assuming the worst, but also taking away the pride in communication. Because something we were told once was like, don't complain about your spouse doing what you've always wanted them to do because you had to keep asking for it. Like, I shouldn't have had to ask this many times. Well, so what? You got the result you wanted, right? You wanted them to start doing this more or whatever. So why are you still complaining at this point if they're doing it? If anything, no, you see that communication actually works instead of just, expecting something, having those expectations unmet, and then sitting back salty about it because you never spoke. So,
Yeah.
all right. So all you got for that nugget?
That's it.
All right, something for y'all to chew on. Okay, so as far as what's good, Married at First Sight, Tish, what you got? And can we, before you do that, can we dig into Chris? Because there is one thing, something that for some reason kept totally eluding me was the fact that I didn't know Chris on the show was a minister at one point. I knew his parents were pastors, he was in church, but I'm just like, yo, he just reinforced that stereotype about preachers and musicians being hoes. Like, dang, bro. Like, he literally moved because he felt like he wasn't making enough money preaching. So he went to do other stuff. But I'm like...
He said he was homeless. He moved to Atlanta and he was homeless.
That boy was a prodigal son.
I don't know. I have no idea. But he's not... I've watched this show. It's probably about 11 seasons. It is 11 seasons. And I've watched every season minus I think season 9 because I just couldn't get with it. But I've watched every season. I've never seen a person get this much exposure via social media because of their bad character. Like most times it's, oh, I don't really think they're gonna make it because of this or that, or oh, I just love that couple. It's those kind of talks. And you talk about, oh, they had a little argument about this or that. But never has. They're not even really supposed to be on social media. He's on social media. He done joined the Married at First Sight discussion groups, clapping back at people. He will not go on Unfiltered because Jamie Otis is the host of that show.
Who is Jamie Otis?
Jamie Otis is one of the former Married at First Sight's people. So she got married at first sight to this man. I can't remember his name. Doug, I think so.
It's like the most generic name ever. I feel like you just picked the name.
No. I think that's his name for real. But they got married at first sight, and they kind of had a little bit of a rocky start, but they stayed together. Now, they made a show called Unfiltered where it comes on before the new episode for the week comes on. So it comes on Wednesday at 7:00, and you watch the previous episode with one or two or three of the Married at First Sight people, contestants.
The old couples?
No.
Or the current ones?
The current ones.
Okay, so it's like an after show like some of the other shows.
Yeah, but it's basically you're rewatching last week's episode and they talk about how they felt, what happened, those kind of things. Jamie Otis is the host of that show. So since he's clapping back at her, he said that he will not come on to Unfiltered because her ASS is the host. That's what he said.
Okay.
We won't ever see him on Unfiltered, and that's totally fine, like for real.
As much as he like attention, I'm surprised he wouldn't want to go on there for the controversy. But it's just something disturbing about that dude to me. Seeing that grown man act like a baby with this woman who's supposed to be his new wife was just bizarre to me.
So you missed last week's episode. I watched it without you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
I know, yeah.
I'm sorry. But last week, and I was going to start with them last, but I'll start with them first. Last week, he told Paige that he found out while they're on their honeymoon. They're in Las Vegas on their honeymoon.
This is Chris's wife.
Yes.
Paige. Okay.
He tells Paige, she's sitting down for breakfast. She's like, okay, ready for the day. And he comes back and she's just like, what's going on? What's wrong? You know, he's like,
Gosh.
I just got some devastating news. And I mean, one other thing that kills me when this dude talks, he mumbles. He mumbles, seriously. I just don't know. I'm just trying to blah, blah. I'm like, no, you need to speak up. Like, next week, well, this coming week, he's supposed to, like, get into it with one of the other guys. And I'm pretty sure he's going to yell and scream then. But, I mean, so he sits down at the table. And he's like, I just got some devastating news. And she's like, oh, my God, what's wrong? You know, because she's genuinely like, okay, I'm ready to try to get on a better track with my husband. And he's just like, it's devastating. He would not tell her what the news was. And so she basically was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to continue to film right here with you until y'all tell me. So she gets up and he goes and talks to production. They're telling him, you have to tell her. That's your wife. You have to tell her. And she basically breaks the fourth wall. What is it? Fourth wall? Third wall?
I was about to say, it ain't no fourth wall in reality shows.
Oh, well, she's like, y'all need to tell me what's happening. What's going on? So eventually he tells her, but this is what he has her do. Take your mic off. They go into the bathroom. He closes the door. He runs the sink water and he runs the shower water. Tells her to take her mic off, all this stuff, just so he can tell her that his ex-girlfriend is pregnant with his baby. 6 weeks. And he just found out.
So this is the girl he was engaged to?
Yes.
So they were still smashing like right up until he came to the show.
He says basically somebody in her family died and he went to support her and she was vulnerable and one thing led to another and they did it. 6 weeks. That's what they said.
So what was her response to this?
Oh, she once she found out, she got dressed and she left and told the cameras not to follow her.
I mean, they can't force you to stay on the show, right? Like, if you just up and decide, like, bruh, I cannot, I'm done.
Well, as you see, did you watch last season with me?
Yeah.
Last season, the Brett guy that I told you that was kind of like snarky, Brett and Olivia.
Yeah.
They both quit in the middle of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
like he moved back to his apartment and she stayed at the other apartment that they were living in. And they quit in the middle. So I think you can walk away.
Look, fam, if I was her, I'm walking away.
So
my thing is, I wouldn't have stayed after that whole incident about her talking to his parents. Like, where he basically just broke down like a child. Like, that was just weird. Like, you too grown to be having, like, child tantrums like that.
So I have a conspiracy theory.
Oh, God.
You remember that episode when he said, I had a panic attack and I was gone for 3 hours? You know, when she was like, where have you been for 3 hours?
He was not with his ex. That's not what you're about to say. Oh.
I believe
I was about to say,
that's when he got that message. I believe that's when he found out and it caused him to have a panic attack. And he's just now saying something about it.
Well, that's not really a conspiracy. I think that's a pretty decent assumption to make.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, like that would make sense because at least it would help me understand why he just was acting so bizarre. Like, but even then, like, dude, be a man. I thought being homeless would have built character.
Man, I was
so
homeless
lost.
and I came to Atlanta and I was the first black to open a Subway franchise and all this other stuff, of which, I mean, good. I'm proud of you. Wonderful. But we don't want to keep hearing about your stuff. I don't care. So what she ended up doing is
you sure you don't want to hear about it?
No, I don't. She gathered herself together. They had dinner together. They had dinner that night and he's just like, I want to hear from you. I want to hear how you're feeling, what this makes you, what this does for you and all this other stuff. And he said, she's like, I'm here and I'm willing to try to stay in this and to make it work and see what happens. And he's like, well, I understand if you want to leave, you know, that kind of thing. And if you leave, I might run after you and all that kind of stuff.
For what though?
Because he's like, he went back to the, you are a very beautiful girl. And
but you're
a very beautiful lady.
You weren't interested in her.
That's what I'm saying. So he started spitting all this stuff. So they go to meet up with everybody else. And what happened was when they first found out, they had him go talk to Vincent. And Paige went and talked to Brianna. Just so they could talk to another couple or whatever. Brianna spit the real to her and was like, you got to look out for yourself. And, you know, but Paige is on this whole thing. Well, you know, it might be God's will for me to, you know, blah, blah. And I was just like, girl, I really, really think you could be coming on Married at First Sight for you to have a failed marriage so your husband can see you on TV and come after you. I mean, it could be something like that. But it ain't to be with that man. It's not. I'm sorry. God will not do that. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. No.
Okay. I'm not mad at it. Kenya said there is a financial penalty if they leave the show. They also have to stay married for 1 year in order for the show to pay for the divorce.
Yeah, I saw that.
I figured it was some sort of legal stipulation to kind of keep them there. Because you would think a show about people getting married after literally just like a blind date, you would think that the rate of people wanting to be like, nah, would probably be kind of high. So, I mean, I get it. Do they get paid to be on the show?
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but I've heard it's like $25,000 to do the show because they can't work while they're filming. They can't work. They can't. I think the last group got to work because theirs was like 6 months long because they had the whole pandemic thing where they had to be quarantined in with each other. But primarily in the regular season, you're not allowed to, you have to take a leave from work or you have to do, and it was one guy literally who lost his job because he told them, I'm going on Married at First Sight. And they're like, well, we don't support that, so you're not going to be able to work here anymore.
Wow.
And so he ended up quitting. But I don't know. I mean, Chris and Paige, I already know they're not going to make it. So I guess it'll just be interesting to see the rest of their journey play out. But I have to say that I love Brianna and Vincent. I love them. Their chemistry, I can't even talk. Their chemistry is so organic. Like, it's like they've been dating for a long time and they're really, really, really in love with each other. Even though they're not in love yet, you can tell that they're headed that way pretty quickly. Like, this dude's grandfather had a heart attack. Grandfather, one of his grandparents had a heart attack, and he found out as soon as they got to Vegas. And she's like, okay, so what are we going to do? Are we leaving and going to your people, or what, you know, what do you want to do? And she's like, literally, like, I'm your wife, I'm down, I'm here, whatever you want to do. And that put like brownie points in there for him, because he was just like, dang, like, we've only been married a day or two, and she's like really, really down for me. Yeah. So, I mean, they, I love them, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to stay together unless something just drastically happens. But yeah, Jacob and Haley, I don't even have much to say about them. I don't believe they're gonna stay together. He's a nerd, she's outgoing. They are boring together. I just can't take it.
I feel like the only couple that matters in this one is Chris and Paige.
No, because like, the rest of them do matter.
They the ones giving the most like attention to this season.
Ryan and Clara, they get attention because he is very, very spiritual. And well, Brianna and Vincent probably get the second most attention, but Ryan and Clara, I think they're gonna stay together too. The only difference in their dynamic is they were both raised to be spiritual and in church and all that stuff, but she's jaded by religion and by church now, and he's still a very, very spiritual human being. Like, God is, you know, his relationship with God is important. And so she asked him, she said, okay, if we have children, would you like to raise our children in church and stuff like that? And he's like, yeah, I feel like, you know, that is important. And she's like, well, I feel like they should just grow up and be able to choose whatever they want. I don't want to, tell them that they have to do this or do that. And so they have a different dynamic in that piece, but I feel like they'll be able to figure it out at some point. And then Virginia and Eric, she's a party girl. He's a low-key pilot. But I think there's a dynamic to them. A low-key
what?
So, he's a pilot.
I'm like, either he is or he ain't.
Well, I didn't mean to put low-key pilot together, but he's a pilot. She is, and there's like, what is happening? She's 26.
Chair went out.
She's 26, and he's...
Where's the chair plugged into?
What? The wall.
Can you check it?
Oh, one moment.
Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties, okay? So this chair that we're sitting on, as you can see, is actually... Tish.
What?
You know you clumsy, bro. You gonna mess around and knock everything over.
No, I'm not.
Oh.
See?
Might be easy now. You know you're working with a lot in the back.
What?
But anyway, this chair that we using has like a little outlet in it. And apparently it's either unplugged or decided it just wanted to crap out. So I don't know which one is which. But yes, we should be good momentarily. And if you were wondering why I'm not the one getting up doing this, since she was talking, it's because I don't have pants on, people, okay? That's typically how I've been rocking through the quarantine. If I had a Zoom meeting or anything, y'all can't see the lower half, so does it really matter? You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. It don't matter.
It don't want out because...
Oh, Lord. Lord Jesus. Yeah, can you plug that into... Ooh. Keys for both of those into it. Okay, but anywho, we should be good in just a second. And we back. Good. Oh. All right, Tish. Continue.
Who am I talking about?
Ryan and Clara.
Oh, yeah. She's jaded by religion and church and all that stuff because she had to go through that when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And he did the same thing, but he actually has a relationship with God and he developed, all that, and he actually likes it. So she's at a point of, I was pushed into that when I was younger, and now that I'm older, I want to be able to do what I want to do as far as religion and all that stuff. She's like, I believe, but I'm not a church going person, all that kind of stuff. He is. And so they started talking about how they were going to raise their children or how they would like to raise their children. And he's like, yes, that's how, I want to raise my children in church and, all that stuff and bring them up to where they learn about God and all of that. And she's just like, well, I don't necessarily want to do that. I want them to just grow up and make a decision for themselves as to what they, want to do.
I mean, so my thing is, I agree with that. Even with us both being Christian, right? I still believe the same thing. Like, let your child make their own decisions, right? Take them to church, obviously, stuff like that. But as far as forcing them into a relationship with God or into the Christian faith, I don't feel like that's a good thing. And I only say that because there's so many instances of kids growing up who are forced to just be a part of church, and they were never really taught about spirituality.
Right.
And then so they leave, the nest, go to college or whatever, and all of that goes out the door.
That's true, but I mean, I just feel like I'm not going to pressure my child. Do you want to get baptized? Do you want to get baptized? My parents didn't do that. We went to Sunday school every Sunday. We went to church every Sunday, and we came to them and was like, hey, this is what I want to do. So there was no pressure in that, but you had to go to church every Sunday, all day on Sundays. But I think that was one of the things that by the time I got on my own to go, where it was like, it's my choice on whether it was so instilled in me that it was just like, okay, I'm going to church. I'm going to church. And as I was doing that and as life was happening to me, that's when I developed my own relationship with God. Like, I believed in him and all that stuff. So, I mean, I get the whole, letting them grow up to make their own decision. Fine. But as a child, you will follow the practices of what we do in this house.
No, I agree. I just think it needs to be a mixture of both, like you said. For instance, in their situation is different, but at least she is open to the idea of letting, like some people are so like anti-religion and anti-church,
Yeah.
where they'll be like, I would never want my kid to grow up and be a Christian or grow up and believe there's a God. Like, they actively go out of their way to push the mindset of, no, this isn't real. So basically, you're just reverse evangelizing your kids. You're not Christian. You're just doing it.
Right.
You evangelizing them into something. I just feel like at the end of the day, you should train your child in a way where they know how to think for themselves.
Yeah.
Even with the things that you tell them, because as parents, you're not perfect either, right? Like, you don't have all the answers. Sometimes you're wrong. Even in the teachings you try to give them spiritually, you could be giving them wrong information at times because we're flawed, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel like the best gift you can give your kids is teaching them the importance of learning how to think for yourself. Learning how to do your own research and stuff like that. Right. And then if you've done, the best you can, at the end of the day, they're going to make whatever decision they want to regardless.
I mean, yeah, of course. So, I mean, my whole thing with this show is the drama of Chris is just overshadowing the other people. I don't like that. Like,
it's entertaining to me. I love it.
It's entertaining, but it's just like
I feel
these
bad
other
for her.
couples. Well, it's over now, technically, so she,
But her face, though, when he came to her in that room and he was just tripping and she walked out of, like, the room when they first got into it, it was just like, you could see the look on her face of, like, I really thought I was going to come here and find love, and I ended up with this.
I think she needs a redo. They should have a show of people who got messed over on Married at First Sight, who had terrible spouses, put all of them in a pool and see if they can mix and match them.
I still just blame the people who made the show, because it just seems like, because in the past they've done a good job to me of matching people. This time, unless Chris is just that good of hiding who he really is, and he just knew how to say all the right things, and he's just a master manipulator and all that stuff, I don't understand how in the world, because they seem so different.
They do. And Pastor Cal, when they were picking people, said, I don't think as fully calculated as Chris is, his, all the way down to how he looks and how he wants things to be and how he wants that to be and stuff like that. He doesn't think that Paige was going to fit into his perfect little view of what he wants his wife to be. He said that. But they picked her anyway for him. So...
Oh, well, that's their fault then.
I mean...
They set her up for the okie doke. Low key.
That's what, Pastor Kyle said. And it was just a hope that, okay, we're going to give you a woman. He said she might not be the woman I want, but she might be the one you need. Literally, you can think that, but you shouldn't say it out loud to her friends.
That was very bizarre to me. Because when I saw him talking to them, like, yeah, she's not my typical blah, blah, blah. I thought those were his people.
No.
I didn't, like, when I realized, no, those are her friends, I was like, whoa, like, yo.
Yes.
Hey, Mama Judy, I see you.
It's just like, bruh, you are not, to me, he's just not attractive. And when he mumbles, it makes me seem like he's a kid. I had somebody, they called me and they told me that, my ex-girlfriend is 6 weeks pregnant. So when he told everybody, when he told the group,
that's literally how a kid comes home and tells their parents they got in trouble at school today. You got the little note on your back and stuff like, he's weird. So man.
when they told everybody, people, everybody's like, what? Are you serious? Like, and so they were quick to jump to Paige's defense. They're like, Paige, if you need anything, we're here for you, all of this. How are you doing with it? And he gets mad. and gets up, and goes and sits on the clear across the room and lays on the couch. And he's just like, I'm just trying so hard not to break down right now. Everybody is showing, they're showing support for Paige, but nobody's really, saying anything about me. You did this.
I was about to say, bro, you breaking down because you was breaking your ex's back. Ain't nobody tell you to do that.
Bruh.
Ain't nobody tell you to do. And my thing is, I don't even care that you dipped back with your ex. Why did you bring your unstable self onto this show when people are really on here looking for love?
Shouldn't have.
And let that be a lesson, people, okay? Don't play with folks, all right? Like, I don't care if you rebounding at the moment. I don't care what's going on. Like, think before you stick it or let somebody stick you. Like, think about how that other person may flip. Because some people can't handle you just playing around with them because at that time you just want to feel something. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could get yourself into some bad stuff.
It's just crazy. And I mean, I look forward to watching it, and I won't watch it this week without you, boo. But that is retarded. I do feel, what are my predictions? Hold on. My predictions now are that all of these couples gonna stay together except for Haley and Jacob. They are so boring, I promise. And Chris and Paige. I feel like Ryan and Claire are gonna make it. I feel like as weirdly opposite as Eric and Virginia are, I feel like that they're gonna make it too. Like, she's a party girl and he's, older and more established, but I do feel like she's gonna pull him out to have a little bit of fun, and he's gonna pull her in to kind of be, hey, calm it down. So they're gonna meet in the middle. That's what I feel like.
The yin and yang, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes opposites attract.
But I still think she drinks too much. I do. And I don't know. He's a pilot and he's gonna be gone a lot. And he doesn't like the fact, he don't think that men and women can have the opposite, friends of the opposite sex.
Okay, so quick question for y'all, for the few folks that's watching, if you want to chime in at any point in the comments, let me know, because Tish just said something. She said, in this case, the guy does not think that you can have friends of the opposite sex. I used to be of that mindset as well.
Until you got with me? Because I have plenty of male friends.
Well, I'm talking about for me. I just meant for me, not for anybody. I just didn't think it was possible for me.
You didn't think it was possible for you to have female friends?
As a dude, I did not think it was possible for me to have female friends because historically, I would always end up, the things that drew me to them as a friend would start attracting me to them. And then next thing I know, I done ruined the whole friendship because, hey, I'm in their text messages. I'm writing notes and stuff. So, I was just thinking, maybe we could take this to the next level. And then I always got hit with the same stuff, which is, see, Charles, I really just think you're a great friend, and I don't want to ruin our friendship, And that was usually the end of the friendship right there.
Yeah, every Mama time. Judy, we're talking about Married at First Sight. It comes on Wednesday nights at 8:00 on Lifetime. 8:00 Eastern time. But yeah, I had the guy friends because when I was younger, me and the women's didn't mesh well. The women's. I didn't have many friends that were females because they all had an issue with my RBF. Or, I don't know, so I developed a lot of brothers.
So, King said there is a Married at First Sight second chance for prior couples to try to find love again.
What second chance show is that?
Probably just a show you didn't know. Did you know it was a Married at First Sight Australia?
Yeah, I just don't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably on there.
I see Married at First Sight second chance. I would love to kind of see who gets on there.
Yep, second chances.
When does it come on?
That much, couldn't really tell.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't know if it's still a show, Kenya, because the episodes stop at 2017 from what I'm looking at.
Oh, so I'm like, I sure didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of it, honestly, but I'll definitely be interested in watching to check up on some of these. Oh, it's only one season and 12 episodes. So apparently they don't do updated ones for that anymore.
But yeah, there's a few people in these seasons that I feel like got a bad. It's like Iris and I can't even think of his name. She was very pretty. Iris and Keith, I think, yes. And she wanted to stay together and he wanted to get a divorce. And she was so mad. But I understood it because she was a little immature when it came to sex. And yeah, she was a virgin and he was trying to pull that sexual, out of here, and she just would not. It was
Realistically speaking, is that a deal breaker?
what?
Say you get married and I'm just like whacking the sack, right? Like, I mean, obviously you're married. You're married at that point, so I mean, you can't, like, based on what we believe, like, we're not gonna just get divorced over that.
No,
but at
you
the
just
same
try
time,
to work on it. That's where you go to, intimacy classes or something like that with each other and try to just figure it out. Say, hey, this is what makes me feel. Try to school each other on.
I know that's the good Christian way. I get it. But at the same time, man, it's just like, it's like when you get a toy and the batteries are sold separately. Like, it's like, dang, man, I can't even play with this the way I want to.
So, my thing is, if you aren't having sex, well, if you're a virgin, you probably wouldn't even know if it's not that great anyway.
I feel like you would know.
Especially, or you might just be like, okay, sex ain't all that it's cracked up to be. That's
I was about to say,
take.
And that's a bad gift to give.
Oh, Lord.
You don't want to be 20 years down the line, and then it's just like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like?
Oh, my.
Oh, that's terrible. Okay, anything else on Married at First Sight?
No, that's it.
All right, man, let's wind it down with some relationship posts. So the first one I have is, should I tell my fiance that I'm disappointed in my ring? It's been a couple weeks now since my fiance proposed, which I am ecstatic about. It was a long... I'm sorry, Mama Judy. It was a long time coming. We've been together 4 years. There's some background to the proposal I think is relevant. We've been talking about marriage since our first anniversary, and I was getting upset after several years that it wasn't happening. First and most relevant, he said that he was saving money for a ring, and that was why he hadn't proposed yet. Later, he added in that he wanted me to quit smoking before he would propose, but that reason alternated with the money for a ring reason. I was really feeling like he was just making excuses, and so was trying to come to terms with the possibility we would just never get married. At Christmas, I lost it and broke down in tears because I felt like it would never happen, at which time he told me he had already bought a ring and it was on its way. I was totally thrilled. The ring came and he handed me the package it was in. Where was I at? I opened the mailer myself and took the ring out and put it on. He said since I knew it was coming, he would forego the ceremony of it all. Not gonna lie, I'm disappointed about that. I don't need a huge display, but I really would have liked him to say the words, "Will you marry me?" and put the ring on my finger, but the past is past. The thing is that I'm unhappy with the ring. I actually love it, and for any other occasion, I would be thrilled with the ring, but it's just not an engagement ring. We had talked about what kind of ring I would want, so it wasn't a mystery. I wanted a certain color of gold, and it's a different one. I wanted a certain stone, that's not it. I wanted a couple of different stone shapes, and it's the one that I specified I would never want. On top of all that, it is inexpensive. He spent more on his new computer desk than my ring. All those times he said he was saving for a ring are just a lie. We both make very decent money, and he has some debt to pay, but is in a really good spot financially, just like I am. The ring isn't necessarily cheap looking, but combine all the factors, and I'm just disappointed. On top of that, he's extremely against buying jewelry and has said multiple times that the only jewelry I'll ever get is going to be my engagement ring. This is the one and only thing I'll ever have that I will wear on my person that says I love you from him, and it just feels like so little. I waited until I calmed down a bit and spent some time reflecting, and I'm now unsure about whether or not I should say anything. One thing I think may make me feel a bit better is to upgrade the stone or cut that I want to the stone or cut that I want instead of getting a wedding band. But I feel like I can't suggest that without admitting that I'm disappointed in the ring. And And in a lot of ways, I feel like a snob being unhappy with it. What should I do? Should I suggest upgrading the ring and hope he doesn't read too much into it? Or do I need to explain, am I just being a big old snob that I don't have a traditional engagement ring and I need to get over it? Tish, as the resident woman for this show, please let me know as you show your ring on camera. Let me know. What do you think about this? What's up, AJ?
Oh, gosh. I really want to see, I would like to see what this ring looks like. Because I think that that would make me determine on whether I feel like she's being a brat or not. But since I can't see it, it sounds like he really just got her this ring to shut her up and to keep her from keep asking.
Yeah, this is a jagged edge engagement.
Yeah, it's not a I really want to get married to you, and so I want to give you the best. It's more of you keep asking me, so I'm just gonna get you a ring.
That boy said we ain't getting no younger. We
Like,
might as well
that's
do
what
it.
it sounds like. And he didn't get on his knees to propose. Like, I don't know. That's a big thing for any woman that wants to be married. The whole, surprise proposal and all of that stuff. And then being able to, plan a wedding and all of that. So the fact that she got it, she opened it and she put it on the finger and he's like, well, we just gonna bypass all of that. I don't really, this is the whole thing that just makes me, that's why it doesn't make me feel like he got the ring because he really wants to marry her.
Well, that's what one of the top comments said, don't marry someone who isn't excited to marry you.
Yeah, like, that's a bit, I don't know.
I think my thing is this, all right? Like, it's kind of the same thing with the whole Birkin bag thing not too long ago, right? All of these people saying, man, like, y'all want a Birkin bag and y'all want men to spend all this money on y'all. And listen, just get with somebody who don't expect that from you. Problem solved. If you with somebody and you feel like she a nag because she's asking you about y'all getting married, y'all been together for a long time, like, how about you just get with somebody who doesn't have those expectations? Because you obviously want a woman with zero or low expectations of what she wants. So instead of making this woman unhappy when she could have somebody who doesn't mind buying her the ring she wants, who is honestly excited to marry her, like, if anything, I think she just needs to give up. Leave dude alone.
Yeah, I just would have gave him the ring back and politely told him he can get his money back and just go on about it.
Said whatever little money you spent.
Yeah, like,
apparently he got one of them 25-cent bubblegum rings.
But see, so I'm not that type of person. Like, if I know for a fact that my husband can't afford this big elaborate ring, like, you were 21, 22 buying an engagement ring. I was not expecting for a ring that was just like, okay, we've been married 20 years. I want you to upgrade me. I want this big fat rock.
And I mean, even what I did, though, at 21, and this man got a whole job.
Yeah, you did good.
I know I did good, because it hurt my pockets. I was paying that mug off for a minute. You know what I'm saying? But it was worth it. I ain't gonna complain. I was just happy you was happy.
I was happy. And when we put the band with it and stuff, it even made it pop even more.
You know what I'm saying? One day we're gonna move up, though. We're gonna have you with the old school Flintstones, ring, where that mug was like super huge on the finger. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, one day.
All right. Well, this girl, I just don't, it's one thing, if you really didn't want to get her a ring and you just gave her a ring just because, then that loses the meaning behind the ring.
Gosh,
for me. Like, if you give me a small ring and it's from the depths of your heart and you spent whatever you could spend on it, it would make me the happiest ever because I know it came from a genuine place.
Yeah.
If you give me a ring and it's just to shut me up and you saying, well, here, I'm not going to even go through the formality of putting it on your finger. We can bypass all of that.
That's what AJ said.
What the heck?
AJ said the ring lost its luster when he didn't even propose.
Yeah, like, he didn't proposal. You got this ring on, and he's not even asked you to marry you.
It's
just
literally
like, oh, you got a ring.
It's literally a leave me alone.
And I'm assuming that I'm supposed to plan a wedding now. Like, no.
Yeah, he like, you the one that want to get married, so go ahead, plan it.
Nope.
Get it together.
Next.
My thing, people, just stop playing with marriage. Okay? If you somebody out there considering getting married or something like that, like, I wish we took marriage more seriously. That's it. Because there's just too many people who just are willing to get married just out of the blue. And that's the reason why divorce rates are so high. 50%. Over half of marriages ended in divorce. Man, that's crazy. Some of y'all just need to stay single or find you a long-term person that don't require that. But, like, stop getting married if you're not ready to be married. And if you've been married like 5 times already, it's obviously not for you. It's obviously not your ministry. So just stay single. You know, get you a bullet or something. And just...
It's a rose now.
A rose?
Yes.
What is a rose?
You'll find out.
All right, so hey, right on, man, my dog. Okay, I think that's a good moving on point. As I try to swallow here. So let's see. My boyfriend is emotionally cheating on me. My boyfriend was laying in bed. My boyfriend and I guess, were laying in bed when I heard his phone go off. He got a notification on his phone, and it read, "I got you tomorrow," with a kissy face emoji. I asked him about it, and he flatly showed me the message. Prior to her message, he had messaged this girl and asked her why she hasn't posted her daily photo that day. However, when I checked her profile, she had indeed posted, just didn't post her daily selfie. From what I could tell in her previous story, she loved a full body selfie. Another message was to an Instagram model, and he asked her to marry him. He had messaged and flirted with other girls throughout our relationship. When I confronted him and asked him why he had to seek validation from others, he said he didn't know, and it was just a simple comment. I communicated that I was upset with him, and it was breach of trust, and I don't think he respected me if he sought out to flirt with other girls, to which he replies that he loved me. It was a bad habit of his that he wanted to get rid of. I want to forgive him because I truly love him, but we've only been together for a few months and I'm torn. Should I end it now and save myself misery and heartbreak in the long run, or should I forgive him and wait for him to stop messaging other girls, even though I'll always be on my toes?
Bruh, when I told my boyfriend I saw the messages he sent it was back in the day, and it was Facebook messages, you know, how you hopping into people's DMs. His response to me was, "Why are you in my DMs? You don't trust me?"
Obviously not, because I found stuff in here.
I just don't like this kind of stuff, bruh. If you want to compliment other women, flirt with other women, do all this other stuff, don't tie yourself down to one main girl and call that girl your girlfriend if you're not gonna do right. Like, it's just stupid.
Such a simple
It is
topic.
so dumb. Like, I don't understand why dudes be, and I think it's because I've been watching too much of the Love and Hip Hop sagas from season 1 all the way up. But you have a main girlfriend, but you inboxing all these other females on the side, and then when your girl come to you and say something, you gotta have an attitude or you gotta have an issue with her saying something. You the one wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been my thing. Like, if you want to be out here shooting your shot in everybody's DMs, then fine. Be single. Like, you don't have to date someone. I don't understand. I've never understood that concept. I haven't. Like, I don't get... And me personally, I cannot focus attention on a significant other and also be out here trying to devote energy to other women.
I'm glad you can.
Like, I ain't got time for that, man. I just... no, you need to let him go. He's obviously... The ages on these were...
It wasn't one, was it?
26. Both of them are 26. So, I mean, I can't even give him the immature excuse. He's over the hill to 30. So at this point, you should be starting.
Immature at 26.
But not everybody necessarily, but what I'm saying is he's getting too close to the age of 30 to be out here acting like a little boy. This whole I'm out here, dog. You out here inboxing models on Instagram talking about will you marry me? That ain't just immaturity, bro. I don't know anybody who would do something like that. Like brother man is a little out there, man. Let's see. We've been going for a little bit over an hour. We have time probably for one more. So I'm going to see here. These people be having some real crazy stuff going on though. Like every week I go and I look for these and I be expecting to run out of stuff to be surprised at. But it's just like every single week is something where I'm just like, bruh, like I can't believe somebody somewhere is really dealing with this. Like it's wild. But anyway, let's see what we have. So so that we don't run on too long here, I'm gonna give you a choice. Okay, so we have my engaged friend is cheating on his fiance and everyone knows by her. Should I tell her? We have, what else? Me and my husband have been married for 2 years, but together for 10, and he doesn't want his kids to be like me. And let's see, and that one has an update with it. And that's it.
Well, let's do that one.
The one about the kids?
Yeah, he doesn't want his kids to be like me.
So before we get into that one, then, if we're not reading the other one, what's your take on if you know that a friend of yours is either cheating or being cheated on? Should you say something, or do you believe that's none of my business?
Oh, no, I'm definitely going to say something.
I'm not saying a word.
I'm that friend.
I'm not that friend.
I am. Because
I've seen way too many times where the friend gets mad at you for saying something.
Be mad.
No, fam. If I've been friends with you longer than this person that you dating, just because you're happy you getting some cat out here, like, no, bruh. No, don't come back to me after what I told you was the truth. Like, oh yeah, dog, you was right, man. No.
I didn't say we was gonna be friends after that. But what I'm saying is, I'm not. If I'm your friend, and I know that your dude is doing you wrong, or your girl is doing you wrong, or I see it, I'm telling you. It's up to you as to what you do with the information, but I'm telling you.
I'm definitely not doing that.
I am.
I'm not doing. And in this case, where it says, it actually said that her friend is the one doing the cheating. I'm definitely not saying nothing to your significant other.
No, okay, listen. No. If my friend is the one doing the cheating, I'm checking my friend. I'm not saying anything to the significant other. If my friend is the one being cheated on and I saw her significant other doing the cheating, I'm telling my friend. I'm the person that's loyal to my friend. So therefore, I'm telling my friend, or I'm telling my friend off. Listen, either one.
I ain't see nothing. I ain't hear nothing.
No, because I don't want them to tell me.
I don't care.
Yeah, I do.
It ain't none of my business.
If we are friends and we are ride or die friends, or we like good friends.
Listen, man, I was always told if it don't concern you, stay out of it. And that's what I plan to do.
My friend concerns me.
Man, they love life, don't?
9 times out of 10.
If anything, just be the friend that didn't know, so when it does happen, they can just come back and you can be there to comfort them.
Nope.
I'm like, I respect where you're coming from, but I don't need that stress in my life.
No.
I really don't.
That's why it would be stress for me to know it and not say nothing.
No, because I got enough of my own stuff to focus on.
Yeah, but no. Okay, so you know how me and my friends are? We're close friends. So the little friends that I do have, we're close. So if I see any of their significant others, well, husbands or whatever, out doing something that they ain't supposed to do, first of all, I'm close enough to all my friends' boos or husbands that I can check them, and then I'm going to go tell their wives.
Nah.
Which are my friends.
I don't need no problems.
Whatever.
No
and that's why we're different.
My thing is the truth is going to come to the light whether I say something or not.
Well,
it is not my responsibility to get, especially in a marriage. No. It's one thing if you dating somebody, I can kind of get on board with that, where it's like, no, I don't want you to go to the next step with this person because they're already cheating on you. But in a marriage, I'm not saying a word.
That's even worse.
It's not my business. They marriage is not my business.
It's not making their marriage your business.
If anything,
if your friend, if you
okay,
saw,
I'll level with you here. If anything, I will go talk to the spouse, the man, the husband that's my friend.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk to him, but I'm not blowing the spot up between him and his wife. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to his wife. I'm not doing none of that.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you said.
No, that's
you
not.
You literally said you was like, I'm gonna go in on my friend and I'm telling that person.
Listen, no, this is what I'm saying.
Bruh.
If it's my friend who is cheating, I'm going off on my friend and I'm checking my friend about what they're doing. I
get that. I agree with that.
If it's my friend that's been cheated on and I see it,
but see, no, I'm taking
it
past that because now I'm talking about marriage, right? And in this case, both of them are our friends.
Fine.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to the wife and saying nothing just because she's my friend. No. I will say something to the husband because that's my dog. I will be like, bruh. Now, I know what you're doing.
Right,
here. Like, you better tighten up, dog. For real, you better tighten up. Okay. Like, I'm going to have that talk with him, but I am not about to go blow up their family. Like, because, oh, man, no, she needs to know. She needs to know. I'm not doing that.
Listen.
Especially if they got kids and stuff. I'm not about to be the catalyst that brought their whole situation down.
Okay, well, that's fine. So, if we're out and if I find out that one of my friends' husbands are cheating on them, I'm close enough to all of our friends' husbands to where, okay, fine, I won't blow up their spot. If they're in my face doing this and I see them, I'm going to them. Yeah. I'm going to them. And my conversation with them is, you better tell her or I will. There we go.
I just don't.
Sorry, that's just me.
I just don't think that being a friend gives you that right to meddle into my marriage.
It's not meddling.
Like, I don't think
you sitting out here cheating and you're doing it in the open to where I find out.
But say I'm in a situation where a friend sees me and I'm out and I'm caught in a compromising position, but I'm not actually doing anything. It's actually not what it looks like, right? But they run back to you and they're like, Tish, so I just saw Charles out and it looked like he was super close with this girl and blah, blah, blah. Now, you know me, so you probably wouldn't believe that. But say it's a situation where the woman is like really going to be like, oh, wait a minute. Like, if she really does go off of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying it could really go wrong and I don't want to be involved in that.
I'm talking to the person that I'm catching or that I'm seeing do this first, okay? The way we roll, they pretty much know that if they're caught by me or somebody that's really, really close to them, you're going to have a conversation with me.
I think my main thing is I just hate drama.
You blow up your own spot when you go out and start doing stuff like that. That's not my fault.
You're absolutely right. I mean, and the worst part is I'm defending this even though I've done that before. Like, I definitely have done that before. But my thing... And I mean, I get your perspective because for me, I would care about my friend and my friend being hurt and everything like that. But I definitely would be fearful of losing a friend because they don't want to believe what I'm telling them or they think I'm making stuff up. And I just don't like drama. Well, I don't like being involved in the drama. I don't want your significant other now coming to me like, what? So you blowing my stuff up? Like, now I got to deal with that. I would just rather stay out of it. Unless my friend is the one that's out here perpetrating, and then I'm going to go to him. I don't have no problem checking my male friends at all. But, like, getting in the middle of what y'all got going on and blowing it up, that's just tough for me. I don't fault you for doing it. But I'm just saying, for me, that's an uncomfortable position for me to be in. Right. We got a bunch of comments, so I'm going to read some of these. Let's see. It started... So Bianca said, I'm that friend, I'm telling.
Thank you.
AJ said, he's drinking water and minding his business. Lauren said, I'm telling. Bianca said, Chuck, if you cheat, I'm telling Tish. Tish, if you cheat, I'm telling Chuck.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, she's close enough to both of us. It's like, if she catch you,
that's fine.
She's coming for both of us.
But that's fine. I am not knocking anybody who feels like they want to get involved. I'm just not that kind of person. I can't do that.
That's fine.
I would rather just stay out of it and mind my business. I got too much of my own stuff. Without now adding your stuff.
I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna tell it and then I'm calling you
bro, look
what I just saw.
I'm not trying to get interrogated or nothing. I don't want none of that. Okay, so Charles, can you run that story back for me again? You said, no, I don't want to be in this.
Nope, that's why you got Marco Polo. That's why you got video. This is proof that I'm not telling the lie.
Bro, you the feds, bro. No.
Bro, don't do that.
No,
I take marriage seriously. Do not marry nobody and then decide that you want to go out and you want to do stuff publicly to where people can see you. You blowing up your own spot. So guess what? I'm going to get you another lighter and I'm going to blow that mug up with you. Don't do that.
Anyway,
marriage is sacred.
AJ said a person's behavior norm. My wife is just nosy regardless, so that's seeping into this period. That's just how she is. You know
I'm an advocate for marriage. And I want to see people win.
I ain't mad at it, baby. I love you for it. Let's see. AJ said a person's behavior normally changes when they doing something. It normally tells all without a word being said. I mean, I agree with that. I agree with Tish's position. I don't think either way is right or wrong per se. But I think it's about who you are. You know what I'm saying? Some people have no issue being that person who can say that because they can take whatever comes with that. I'm the type of person who is just I have too much stuff on my mind on a regular basis to now be mentally invested in what you're doing, creeping on the side. Unless it's the dude doing it and he's my friend, in which case I'm definitely hitting you up because we need to have a conversation. Let's see. What else we got? Bianca agreed with you. She said that's being a friend. Lauren said, but you can go to your friend to discuss your problem. I agree. Bianca said, if you're fearful of losing them, then that's not your real friend. I thought about that too. I definitely did. But see, I don't think that necessarily applies because I do think it is possible to get super wrapped up into what you think is a good thing to the point where you may be blind to what's happening around you. Like for instance with me, right? I've been so wrapped up in my own world at times that I've cut off everybody. Mm-hmm. And that didn't mean that I didn't love them or they weren't my friends. I was just so into my situation that I didn't have the energy mentally, right? And I think it applies when you're in a situation where you think you're so in love and all that too, especially if you ain't had nobody in a long time or if they slanging that thing well or whatever it is that got you really wrapped up. Because you don't want to believe there's anything bad, you might for real be like, nah, man, no.
So, Charles, with the friends that I have, and I keep saying this because I really don't know how to make friends. Jesus.
No, you have the right amount of friends. You have actual friends.
I do.
I'm like,
I know them.
If you have real friends, that means you ain't gonna have a lot of them.
That's true. And I know them. I know that, and I talk to each and every one of my friends at least once a week. Almost. All of them. Almost. And so I know them. And I know that they're going to want to know if I see something. And guess what? They know that I'm going to want to know. So I'm going to tell them because my thing is, look, if she don't tell me, what kind of friend are you? You see me getting done wrong and you don't feel like you want to tell me to protect me? You want me to sit out here looking stupid while my spouse goes out and does whatever else?
I totally understand that perspective, though. I get it. I can't even argue with that.
So,
I get it. I'm just saying, for me, that's such a weird place for me to be in. Especially when both of y'all are my friend now, and I know that when I say this, it could potentially ruin everything. Whereas, like you said, where you was like, either you tell her or I do, if I talk to him, and I'm like, bro, you have to talk this out with your wife. Y'all have to go to a counselor. You got to do something. Maybe they can actually work on it. Because I always feel like this, Tish. I always feel like it sounds worse coming from anybody other than that person. Even though you're a friend and they'll appreciate it, it's going to make it even worse. So any part that could have been salvageable, it's better for me to come directly to you and tell you what I did as opposed to one of your friends coming to me and now you got to confront me.
Right. So tell me this. Does this sound sexist or like a double standard? Or so the way I see it is males fool with males. Y'all deal with y'all bros, and that's pretty much it. Y'all don't really approach the women that the dudes are dealing with, their wives or anything like that, on some other stuff.
I mean,
it's like you check your.
It depends on the
Well,
person.
I'm talking about in this situation. A lot of guys that I know, y'all have your brothers' nights. I mean, your brothers' nights.
Hey,
y'all have y'all time out.
And speaking of brothers' nights and all that, fellas, we have got to start holding each other accountable more. Okay, if you're not doing that, if you know what Tish is talking about, you know somebody, your guy's cheating on his girl, or you know something that they doing that's not right. Stop just sitting back and acting like it's not your problem, okay? Because there's a lot of trash talk about dudes these days, and dudes ain't crap, dudes don't hold each other accountable, they don't protect black women, all that stuff. And in some cases it's true because we do not hold each other accountable. That's just my PSA. Continue.
So that I'm fine. Y'all will do that. Y'all will check each other, but then y'all stop there. Y'all leave it at that, okay? A woman, sorry. A woman will be out and be bold enough to go to the dude and say something, and then be like, "I'll go back and tell my friend too."
Yeah, y'all out there snapping like some little chihuahuas.
But
you know what I'm saying? Just going at the dude. Like, yo, calm down. We can talk this out. You ain't gotta threaten me.
Well, I wouldn't threaten. The only threat I would is I'm telling.
Like, that would make me feel like a kid all over again.
And I wouldn't say
please.
I wouldn't say I'm like that, but
please,
it would be a conversation of what the are you doing? What is this? And if he's with a woman, my friend is his wife, right? I'm going to blow up that little spot there, and then be like, depending on who it is, have a serious conversation, brother, sister conversation. And then it's like, bro, you better get this right with, whoever. Or guess what?
It's lights out, brother.
I'm going to tell.
Well, people, if Tish knows you or your wife.
No.
If Tish knows you and your spouse. And she's cool with y'all.
That is not true. We're talking about friends.
If she's friends with y'all, then understand you better not be out here slipping. Don't let her catch you slipping. Okay, stay woke.
Bruh.
Okay? Otherwise,
AJ and
it's
Lauren,
about to be over just like that. So, all right, let's get through this last one so we can get out of here, man. So, yeah, Tish requested this one, but I did want to touch on that topic because I felt like that was super interesting. And it actually turned into a pretty decent conversation. So, thank you, my lovely wife. So this one is the one we were talking about where basically her and her husband have been are married for 2 years, together for 10. He doesn't want his kids to be like her. Let's see. So she says, this morning I told my husband that his mom's good friend passed away. He was upset both about the passing, but mostly with me for telling him on his way to work. He said, "Are you effing retarded?" and told me that he didn't want his kids to turn out like me. We don't have any kids yet. He thinks I have no empathy. I told him this morning because my mother tends to wait until she thinks it's the right time to tell me about deaths and other uncomfortable things, and I think it's very controlling. Also, he's always told me that he wants to know things right away. But he was mad at me because now he's going to be upset all day at work, which I get now, but I really felt like I was doing the right thing for him. We are good most of the time, but he's going through a really stressful patch right now. I've been trying to shoulder a lot of the stress, let him take it out on me, etc. I just feel so bad for ruining his day, and I honestly feel like sometimes I'm ruining his life. I don't know what to do. I don't want to get divorced, but I don't want him to feel like this. He says I'm bringing nothing to our relationship when I feel like I do so much for him. I'm willing to answer any other questions to clear things up. I honestly don't know what I'm looking for by posting here. I just feel really lost. Well.
That's kind of far left.
That's a little wild. And Bianca, real quick, I actually did think about you because I do know how tough I've been with yo man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe it's because it's back to the whole thing of I haven't had a whole lot of women friends. Because I do feel protective over my women friends. And with Bianca, for instance,
we know you felt protected over Bianca.
Yeah, with Bianca, I probably would. Like, if something was going wrong, I probably would. So I think maybe it is like a gender thing in that sense, because as dudes, we just don't talk like that, I guess. And I can understand with women, like, of course, you putting yourself in that position of, oh, heck no, what if that was me? I want somebody to tell me. But with a lot of guys, it's just, I think we try so hard to be masculine and tough that it's just like, nah, man, don't tell me that. Or we just try to act like we don't care. Or I'm just going to go out and smash somebody else then if she's doing that. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that part is, so yeah, back to this. We getting comments about the R word comment, which I didn't want to use the word because I know that that's an offensive term for people who have special needs. But yeah, I was quoting it directly from him because I wanted y'all to feel every piece of what he was saying. That's wild. I guess now I understand why older folks be like, I didn't want to tell you until you got home for the day, but so and so passed.
Yeah,
like,
Lord.
I'm like, geez, bro, like,
but the part in the beginning where he gets mad and goes as far as to say, I don't want my kids to be like you because you don't have empathy.
First of all, y'all gonna have kids or not? Y'all been together for 10 years.
But that was
10
kind
years.
of, what kind of, how do you say that? And then she says, well, I've just been letting him take his stress out on me. No. The only way, there's only one way, husband, that I'm going to sit and allow you to take your stress out on me. One. And you know what that one way is.
Tish.
Any other way,
Tish,
not happening.
You got to chill with all the sex talk. Because everybody knows what you're saying. You might as well just say what you're trying to say.
There's only one way that my husband will take his stress out on me. Anything else, talking crazy, being like talking down to me, doing all that other stuff, not happening. And I can't do that to him. That's not cool. Like, what? Who does that? And she's just like, well, I'm just sitting here and I just take it. Like, no, you don't just take somebody talking bad or down to you or crapping on you. Like, no, that's not cool. And the fact that he just, you lack empathy, so I don't want our kids to be like you.
Well, my thing is,
guess what? We don't have to be together. We don't have to marry. We don't have to, stay married. We don't have to have kids.
My thing is, after 10 years, you ain't figured out that you don't want the kids to be like her? It took you this long to figure that out? And why are you with somebody that you don't want your kids to be like? Because your kids are going to be like both of y'all. Like, I just... Update. So she said it took me more than 3 years, or it took me 3 more years, but I finally left him last year.
Good.
This post helped me see how much was wrong in our relationship, but I was still so hesitant to leave. We had pets and a beautiful home together, and I loved his family, and we had so many inside jokes and plans for the future, but eventually it was all just too much for me to take any longer. The day after his parents' 50th anniversary party, I told him I wanted a divorce. I just couldn't see myself living like that for 50 years. Oh, man. I moved from the suburbs to the city with a friend. I rekindled some old friendships from high school and made a bunch of new friends who I am so thankful for. He kept the dog. I took the cats. I thought my life was ending, but it was just beginning. I told my very religious family, and they were all understanding and supportive. I maintained friendships with a good number of our mutual friends, friendships I was worried about losing. I'm working on my master's degree in volunteering and experiencing life and love and art and beauty like I never thought was possible. I'm not reading everything she's saying here, but she does say if you are in an abusive relationship, please don't be afraid to leave. And that's a good word right there. She said basically she's so much happier, her future feels uncertain, but that's better than feeling like a death sentence.
Yeah, like, no. Goodbye.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's crazy. Don't stay anywhere where you're not appreciated. I mean, Tish and I have said multiple times on this show, neither one of us are going to ever give anybody the advice of getting a divorce. If it's possible to work it out, try to work it out. Okay, but if you are a Christian, for instance, and you just feel like divorce is going to send you to hell or something, it's not. Okay, it is not. And if that has to be your very last resort, okay. If you are with a person who is just committed to not understanding you, who no matter what, they just refuse to see your side of how you feel, or they're abusive to you verbally or physically, or they're cheating on you, whatever they're doing, they're not upholding their vows, for one, okay? So my thing is, don't stay in a situation where you just are not happy. Nobody should live their whole life miserable.
So guess what?
What?
These would be, if I had a friend that I felt like was weak-minded, or that I felt like was insecure and just really, really had to have a man and really wanted to stay with a man, it would be difficult for me to tell her about her boyfriend or whatever, because those are the type of people that don't believe you. Which, in my mind, guess what? I don't have friends like that, so never mind.
But I don't think you know what kind of friends you have until they're in these situations.
Well, you're right.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know how they're going to be until they're in it. You know, you could be so committed to wanting to keep your marriage that you're just putting up with things and not telling nobody.
And I mean, that was me. Like, not saying, I'm talking about,
let me finish. Clear that up from the jump.
Let me finish. Not abusive.
Jeez,
no.
Whoa,
but I'm saying that was me.
Like, hey.
In a sense of when we were going through bad places and I was talking to my friends about our marriage, and my thing was, I just want my marriage to be fine. I just want my marriage. I'll do anything to have my marriage. You know, I'll do anything to have my marriage. I'll do anything for us to stay together, that kind of thing. But I was not in a, like, I don't consider myself to be a weak-minded person. And I didn't consider myself, and hopefully I wasn't looked at that way, but I don't consider myself to be somebody that will just take anything and just want to stay in a marriage or in a relationship just because I don't want to be lonely. So that's what I'm talking about. People like that who deal with men just because they just want to be, they want somebody, they want to be in a relationship, they want to be married, all that stuff. Fine, cool. I can't, you know, it would be a little harder to tell them versus somebody that's married. They're strong, they're stronger minded, as I think. And I feel like they will be able to handle, oh, your husband, I saw him and he was doing blah, blah, blah. Not saying what they're going to do. They might snap or something. I don't know what they're going to do after that, but I'm just saying.
I mean, it might break down since they already are dealing with other stuff with that person. That might be the final straw for them. But she did say here, further down in her edit, in the update, she said, for those saying it didn't sound that bad or abusive, you should know it got worse. It did escalate to physical abuse, us sleeping separately, and no sex for a year.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, man. This top comment, I'm going to read this, and then Tish, you can take us out of here. In her post, she said, my future feels uncertain, but that's better than feeling like a death sentence. And the top comment said, yes. I remember reading once that what human beings are scared of most is uncertainty. So in a way, staying with your abusive husband while awful and full of emotional abuse was the safe option because you knew what you were in for. Leaving him was an act of bravery, and I hope your future is full of warmth and love. And that's the thing, man. Don't ever feel like it's too late to start over. And that's with anything. Relationships, career, churches, whatever, okay? Because I promise you, the uncertainty that you're afraid of, that fear of the unknown that you're worried about, is not worse than the situation you're currently in.
Right.
It may feel like, at least I know what I'm getting here, but you could be getting so much better if you're willing to step out and do something different. So, Tish, take us on up out of here, man.
All right. Well, we thank you guys for tuning in with us tonight. If you have not, we've been highlighting Embrace lingerie and loungewear. If you have not stopped by to see, well, but inboxed Renita Jones to get you some lingerie, some good eye candy for your husband, then go on and do that. Her name is Renita Jones, and she is a black-owned line. She has a black-owned lingerie business. I bought a couple pieces from her this weekend. And yeah, so Renita Jones, Embrace lingerie and loungewear. That is our featured business for the month. So she's on Facebook. She has a group on Facebook for her business as well. So go check her out and give her some business. She has some very good pieces for pretty much all sizes. In about 2 weeks or so, me and good old Brittany are starting our own podcast. We're launching what we call the British Chronicles. Her name is Brit. My name is Tish. Put together is British. And so we're going to have a women's podcast, and we're going to be talking about some of everything. So be looking out for that so you can join in with us and kind of talk with us.
We starting up an entire network, people. So you're going to be getting more shows from us. Like Tish said, the British Chronicles. Also, me and Bianca, since she's in here, we are going to be doing the Problematic Black Movies series and TV shows as a podcast. So that will be coming in the coming weeks as well.
And
should we just say All Things Adams is our network?
I'm trying to tell you.
Tish came up with a name for our podcast media network thing. It's called All Things Adams. I like the name. I think it has a dope ring to it. But it would feel weird for me if my last name wasn't Adams and I was associated with it. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But be on the lookout for that stuff.
ATA. Anyway. But yes, drop those 5 stars if you are a Apple listener, and let your friends know that we can be listened to on any podcast outlet, the audio. That's all we got today. So we thank you guys for listening and tuning in with us and chatting it up. Good conversations, and we are out. Good night.
Peace.